Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to council briefing. Ms. Pfister, will you call the roll, please? Present.
Councilmember Dillon.
Here.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Present.
Councilmember Bingle.
Here.
Councilmember Zapone.
Here.
Councilmember Klitsky.
Present.
Councilmember Navarrete.
Here.
Let the record reflect that all council members are present.
Thank you. At this time, we will turn it over to Mr. Scott.
Thank you, Council President. Today, I believe we just have one request to brief, and that is a Council President request to brief consent items number 2 and number 3 related to Shrek. And I don't know if we were able to find anyone to answer questions, but what were the questions related to that?
Well, we were just concerned if the announcement that had just came out last week will somehow impact these two contract recommendations.
That's right. The answer is no. These are regarding dollars that are owed by Shrek to the city for use of the space. So that proceeds, and they're all retroactive. So agreements that needed to be made in order for payments that were already owed to be paid. So we're.
And I
so
believe
these should proceed regardless.
And I believe what Chief Williams said was we actually ended up getting more money than we were originally going to get, so.
Correct. Any other comments, Mr. Pickle, since you walked all the way down here? No. Okay.
Alex did a great job.
All right. Well, thank you. That
Council
was
President?
Yes, Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, just recognizing we don't have anybody kind of formally speak on the issue. I would like to see maybe something in the future set up to talk about because the transition is going to be a big issue as well.
Absolutely. That was brought up today in our meeting with the mayor that we should have some type of report back or a plan going forward. So they are aware of that. Thank you.
And I know that the plan was for Deputy City Administrator Yates to brief it at committee this morning or earlier today, but then obviously that plan changed. So that was going to happen.
Okay. That will happen on the 14th. Thank you so much. All right. I think we're going to kick it over to Mr. Wright.
Yes.
Yes.
First up for tonight's agenda is potential motion to defer ordinance 36701 relating to property maintenance and use standards, to have it deferred to July 14th.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second to defer till July 14th. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any noes? Abstentions? That is deferred.
Next item, thank you, Council. Next item is a potential motion to defer ordinance 36702. This is the one that simplifies the civil infraction system to final consideration on July 14th.
Is there a motion for deferral?
I will make a motion to defer.
Second.
It's been moved in second to defer to the 14th. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any noes? Abstention? That is deferred.
Next item, in fact, Council President, I don't know if you want me to move down to the 36716, and then we can tackle 36679 after that.
Yes, let's do that.
Okay. So next item is a potential motion to defer ordinance 36716. This is the one that would expand the duties of the Human Rights Commission to include automatic review of proposed changes to Title 18 and move that for final consideration on July 21st.
So moved.
Second.
It's moved in second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any noes? Abstentions? That is deferred. Thank you.
Okay. Next up is ordinance 36679 up for final consideration tonight. We have a motion that was circulated, an amendment that was circulated on Friday. The Dillon Zapone Navarrete amendment. You would require a motion to suspend the rules to allow consideration of this amendment. We also have an amendment that was circulated 3:15 today, roughly. The Wilkerson amendment likewise require a motion to suspend the rules and allow consideration of that amendment as well.
I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules for the purpose of ordinance 36679.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second to suspend the rules. Councilmember Bingo, question or comment?
Yeah, comment. So I think that, again, this is one where there's a lot of different amendments going around right now. There's still a lot of community interest in this ordinance. And I, again, do not think that suspending the rules today to amend it again without a lot of community input is a bad idea. I don't think it's how we should be governing. I don't think it allows the public to give proper input or really to be able to digest and understand the effects of this policy, considering how serious this issue is. And so I think that we should actually defer this for about a month or even longer to allow for a lot more community input on this, because with all the amendments flying around, I think we all realize that at some point this ordinance just isn't any good. And until we can get to a good or a great ordinance, I don't think we should be passing it. So I won't be supporting this motion.
Yeah, Councilmember Cathcart, then Councilmember Dillon.
Yeah, just to piggyback, I would say the same thing. In fact, with one of the amendments coming only a few minutes ago, I've got a copy of it, but that's about it. I haven't really had much chance to digest it, and so it would be an impossibility for me to vote on amendments at this point.
Councilmember Dillon.
Yeah, I'll speak in favor of adopting the Dylan Sapone Navarrete amendment. There's been an iteration of this that we have discussed over the past week. It has been circulated to different stakeholders. The biggest change, I think, is the 90-day data evaluation piece, and then adding on any obstruction of public right-of-way and public property. But I mean, it's not the end, certainly. There's a lot more discussion that's going to happen around implementation. And I think as part of that 90-day evaluation, there's certainly things that we can consider. I understand the importance of, really wanting to knock it out of the park and get it right the first time. But I think, and what I am hearing is that there is certainly an appetite from a lot of community members, stakeholders, to move forward, get something passed. So we do have something moving, but certainly there'll be more to address.
Council President, I think we had a motion to suspend the rules and not a motion to
That's correct.
actually adopt an amendment. So we should dispose of the motion to suspend the rules first.
All those in favor of suspension of the rules, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Abstentions? The rules are suspended. I know Councilmember Bingham has already spoken to this. Councilmember Dillon, Councilmember Cathcart. Any other council commentary on the amendments? Councilmember Klitsky?
I feel like these amendments are.
Point of order. There's no motion on the floor right now.
Oh, we have to make the motion,
The
sorry.
motion on the floor.
So I'll make a motion to adopt the Dylan Sapone Navarrete amendment.
Second.
It's been moved in second to adopt the Sapone Navarrete Dillon amendment. There you go. All those in favor, please.
Oh, discussion.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just about to say that we're doing our best to incorporate community feedback in this and still keep it moving forward so that we can work on implementation. That's, I think, why we put in the 90-day evaluation period, so that, because there's still a lot of division on this idea. And so the evaluation period will allow us to further incorporate community feedback after the end of that 90 days. But this will give us something to move forward so that we do have something on the books that our police can use to enforce some of these issues.
Right. Councilmember Cathcart?
Yeah, just real fast, because I know it's going to pass, so I'll save it for tonight. But I feel like this has actually taken us kind of backwards a bit from where we were 2 weeks ago. And I would really hope to see pretty significant improvements across the board. And still, there's just a whole lot of stuff that's just not quite going in the right direction. In fact, one of the key components 2 weeks ago that became a bit of an issue was the fact that it had reference to a public rule, which is actually a good thing because it means it's public and that council would have to be at least informed, if not, depending on how we do some things, actually vote to approve. This version doesn't have that, which means literally every second the policy could change. Every minute, the policy could change. There is no requirement to update council, no requirement, frankly, to communicate to the public what the enforcement rules are going to be. It doesn't have a 3-day or a 7-day, but it could be a 50-day under this because there is nothing that prevents that from occurring. And a lot of the language in there just doesn't quite get to the enforcement mechanisms. And frankly, I think as a result of that, the outcomes that we're hoping to achieve. So I'm not going to support the amendment at this point, and I guess we'll get into the further details this evening.
Any other commentary? All those in favor of the amendment, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any noes?
No.
Abstentions? The amendment passes. Thank you.
Thank you, council. We have no meeting next week, and then there's a draft agenda for, actually, it says July 7th, but it's July 14th. And that's a potential motion to defer consent item relating to the development reimbursement agreement for 7 Mile Sewer Pump Station, to defer that indefinitely.
Entertain a motion for deferral.
So moved.
Oh, second.
It's been moved and second to defer indefinitely. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any noes? That is deferred indefinitely. Thank you so much. That concludes that. At this time, we are going to go into.
One moment.
One more? Go ahead,
I think we
Councilman.
want to adopt the final agenda as modified.
Motion to adopt the final agenda as modified.
So
All-
moved.
It's been
Second.
moved in second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any noes?
No.
The agenda is adopted. Thank you. At this time, we will be going into executive session for potential and pending litigation for 10 minutes.
Spokane City Council is extending their executive session 2 additional minutes until 3:57 p.m. Once again, Spokane City Council is extending their executive session 2 additional minutes until 3:57 p.m.
Thank you. Council has completed its executive session. No action was taken. We are in recess until 6 p.m.